Of your friends and say, guys, I'm raising $10 million now and people have been on my neck over it. People who don't know me. Okay? So, again, because sometimes, I've had conversation with people and they'll be like, oh, Dr. Stephen, I have this issue. I said, look, maybe this is not the problem. Maybe the problem is character first. Because there are certain things we ignore that may be the beginning of setting our life right. Does this make sense at all? And that may not be what we are prioritizing. For example, how many of you have built a life that people, just by the way you carry yourself, people will be comfortable to want to give you their money? These are questions.
Recording stopped. Okay?
People will be comfortable to say, well, it looks like a serious person. It looks like, there was a gentleman who had invested with our company, did some hundreds of thousands of dollars with us. And just yesterday we were talking, he was just thanking me that, because we give returns on investment. So he was thanking me that he got, he had invested and they gave him his return. It's a yearly return. And just was thanking me. And when we got talking, he said, I was with President Obasanjo last week, and he was speaking so highly of you. At that point, I just said, maybe this man even invested with me in the first place because he knew I was close to Obasanjo. All right? I don't know that you understand. That's just an example of how you carry yourself in the eye of the public for them to be comfortable to invest with you. Ultimately, every rich man is using OPM and OPT. Other people's money and other people's time. That's how wealth is created anywhere in the world. That's how wealth is created, ladies and gentlemen. So, if you don't master how to use OPM and OPT, then maybe business is not for you. Is this making sense at all? So, what is my advice? Your first journey is to, in terms of wanting to become a successful entrepreneur, should be how to build yourself in a way that people can be comfortable investing with you. And if you haven't done it before, here's my advice. Look for a big business person and then work with him to try and do OPM for him. I told you I'm raising $10 million now, right? Let's assume you join me in that course. And at the end of the day, when we raise the $10 million, you brought in, I'm just giving you an example, you brought in $500,000, right? And of course, you get your referral fee, we'll give between 1 to 2% for anybody you refer. Now, your joy shouldn't be the referral fee. Your joy would then be like, oh, so I have the capacity to attract $500,000. I will learn it now. The only thing I may not have is I may not have had the name of Dr. Stephen. I may not have had a big company like him. Then I may not have gotten the deal that he got as well. I may not have the antecedents. Hear me very well. So what do I then do? I still do 2 more deals because now I can go about bragging and say, we raised $10 million. I work with Dr. Stephen. Do you see? My portfolio is beginning to pile up. Do you agree with me? By the time I do 2 or 3 more, do you agree with me that on the 4th deal, if I'm doing without Dr. Stephen and it's just my own deal, do you think people will most likely want to invest with me? Even though they know I'm doing it for myself. Because the assumption will be the credibility of Dr. Stephen has now been transferred to you, isn't it? That, you were involved in working with him, the first one, the second one, the third one. You should have known how he does it. Are we learning at all? So again, are you seeing that capital really isn't the problem? The problem is training and experience. It's not really capital. So please, I will beg you to be open-minded all through this training, because if you go with the mindset of capital, you will not, you will keep writing yourself out of every opportunity we'll be talking about today. Show me that I have not even done this. Then they are saying this project, it's not for me. And it's a mental thing, right? And you're not the one just blocking yourself out of the opportunities. Does this make sense? So all of the offers I have for you is worth £5,000, but I'm allowing you to pay £1,250. And even for that, you just deposit £250, and I'm giving you 60 days to pay the remaining £1,000. Is that a good deal? If it's a good deal, come on, let me know.
Yeah.
You don't sound like it's a good deal. Okay? But if you want to pay all at once, you can pay £1,000, and you have all of this to yourself. Okay? And what I can guarantee you is 100% money back. Right? So if you pay this and you don't make it back in terms of these opportunities, you can ask for your money back and we'll give it to you. Okay, so let's get started with training. So I started with this, who remembers, the cash flow quadrant. I will always start my class with this, and people don't know why. For me, it's the beginning of the concept around financial freedom. If you understand this very well, then you're on your way to breaking out of poverty anywhere in the world. And this just tells you 4 ways to make money: employee, self-employed, business owner, investor. Now it tells you that the one on your, is this your left? Right? The one on your left is what most of us do, and it is the easiest way to what? To poverty. You can join us here. How are you? Hey. So, it's the easiest, that's my MC coming late. Congratulations. MC. The way you guys have disappointed me in the Western world is ridiculous. You do African time in London, African time in Switzerland, African time in... It's embarrassing.
Except South Africa.
What is blocking these guys? So let's move it.
No, they are not complaining, did they?
I think they are too shy to talk. Are you saying everything? Or is blocking you?
Yeah, it's okay.
They could say it.
It's better now.
It's better now.
It's better, but you didn't talk. Why I did that was because we have more people joining us online than those who are here, and I wanted to be sure they are not left out. Okay. This is what I'm sure they're not left out. How do we do this? Because everywhere I go seems to be blocking somebody. So, the first route, as you can see, right, employee, self-employed, right? What does it say? How would you want to go? 95% of people and then 5% of the wealth in the world. What this is telling you is that no matter how much you do this, you can never be rich. Just know that. So, most of us, unfortunately, this is what we keep doing. Everybody in this room is in these two categories. Right? And that's what we all keep doing. Unfortunately, sometimes we think, it's the job. So if I can get a better job. You can see I say, okay, I switch from construction is lower end to IT. I can ask an alpha with the IT. But it's just and that's what they call it rat race. Because yes, maybe at some point you feel good maybe for another 6 months, because maybe your previous job, all you had was £1,000, right? And then you got this new job, £2,000, like, 6 months, you're good. After a while, you're back to your misery, like, man, I'm struggling with my bill again, right? Or maybe a child comes along the way, the bills gets increased, okay? Now, self-employed, for those of you who say, no, I'm not working for nobody, I'm working for myself. Well, that's not true. King Charles will take 40% of your money. So, indeed, are you not working for nobody? You're working for King Charles. That I can tell you. Right? Next is also the fact that there is no guarantee to your income. It's not consistent. Today there's money, tomorrow there's none, isn't it? Today you just want this big contract, you have £5,000 in your pocket. Tomorrow you are even just looking for £10 to fill your Oyster card to go make presentation. Michael's smile tells me he understands what I'm talking about. Very well. Okay? So how far can you continue your life this way? So the next is now, let's read the rights. One to go. 5% of people, 95% of wealth in the world. You see why they don't say income inequality now? First of all, there are little people doing this, and then they control most of the money in the world. Now, why are they little? Can anybody help us? Right? Those of you joining us online, please interact as well. Why are business owners and investors smaller in the world's population? And why do they control most of the money in the world?
I think it's because they face more risk. They are ready to plunge in and do whatever it takes.
They took more risk.
That category of the 95% of people who do not have wealth.
They took more risk, guys. They took more risk. You want to add something?
Also, there is just a circle. Money will circulate
Around those same people, right? So it's like a clique of people, and it's just around them. And once you burst into that clique, it's like we all know each other. We know those who screw people. We know those who are legit. We know the good guys. We know the bad guys. It's just a smaller world as you get to the top. But the truth is that it is also lonely. Lonely at the top. Lonely, lonely, lonely. Money on my mind. Money, money, money. Right? It is also lonely at that point. That's the honest truth, ladies and gentlemen. Extremely lonely. And I'll break it down for you. You here under business, what does it say? You own a system and people work for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, it sounds easy. But guess the problem in those places, you can go at this point, right? I have certain months, ladies and gentlemen, 100 million is my recurrent expenditure. That I must pay out as salary, as bonuses and all of that in a month. Now, if anything happened by mistake, by error, and I don't have this money, you can explain the rest. Am I making sense at all? Because people come and see, you see, he's traveling all over the world. He has not paid our salary. As if he hasn't been traveling before he employed you. Do you see how? Am I making sense at all?
Yes.
Right? So, it's not easy to then be a business owner. Yes, you now have structure. But for that structure to work, it also meant that there are a lot more people being paid. There are a lot more consultants involved in the company. Right? And a lot is now more at stake. That's sometimes why it looks as if wealthy people are miserable. Because there's just so much on your shoulder. There's so much you carry. Right? And everybody keeps hating you. Everybody keeps talking nonsense. Or about what they don't even understand. Right? And if somebody just writes on social media and says to like, that is a scammer, you'll be interested to listen just because he said so. Now, whether there's evidence or not, because he said so. The story I told you about that guy published, I went to check when they sent me, I checked the comments. You know what some people were writing? Say, I've always known this will happen to the man. I've always known. So in my mind, I say, so if this story were actually true, this is how much evil people have towards you. Yeah. And guess what? They don't know you. And they already analyzed. I've always known. I saw people say, I've always known that guy. I'm not surprised. I've always... Okay. Then you have have investment, this is where you should be. Because, like I told you earlier, self-employment to what? To business ownership takes a while, isn't it? And you sometimes don't have control, really, over that. And it takes a while. Which one can you do today? You can start by becoming a what? An investor. Now, anybody can do this. And I promise you, if all of you here can commit to putting in between $200 to £500 into a legit investment today, in the next 10 years, you'll be on your way to financial freedom. Guaranteed.
So is that monthly or a one-off?
Monthly.
£200 every month.
Between £200 to £500 consistently every month into whatever types of investment. Now, there are types. Okay? There are 3 types of basic investment: high risk, mid risk, and low risk. High risk are forex, crypto. We're going to talk about forex and crypto very soon. Okay? But they are high risk. You can double your money, you can triple your money, but you can lose all the money. There are businesses that you don't have control, and you must face that. And I think why people really fail in these businesses because they didn't accept from day one that this is a business I don't have control. Right? So what is my advice when it comes to a high-risk business? Number one, when you make profit, pull out at least 50 to 70% of the profit. Okay? And put it into medium and low-risk businesses. Because at some point, the high risk will crash. It's a law. There's nothing you can do about that. Okay, crypto is rising today. Before you know it, it will crash. Forex is, you are earning well. Something will happen. But guess what? If you have been pulling out 50 to 70% consistently, by the time it crashed, what happened? You've stacked up so much. Right? And you can pick a little out of it and go back to your risky venture while you still have something substantial on this side. Does this make sense at all?
Yeah.
Then we have mid-risk investment. Real estate comes in there. You have real estate as a good mid-risk investment you can do. Trading, Fortune 500 stock is also a mid-risk. Don't tell me it's a low risk. It's still mid-risk. There's still risk involved. Trading Fortune 500. So those are mid-risk investments. Certain regulated funds, falls under mid-risk investment, mutual funds, all of that, mid-risk investment. Then, lastly, we have low-risk investment, insurance, treasury bill, fixed deposit. These are all part of low-risk investment. So what do I advise you to do? Invest across all the three. Invest in the high, invest in the mid, invest in the what? In the low. Divide your money into 3 and put into each of it. So if you do that, guarantee, are we together now?
Yes, sir.
You will always have something at the end of the day. However, warning, don't go into any type of investment without a successful mentor. Okay? The rule is, Yoruba will say, whoa. Look for people who have made it, they have results, and then hide under their wings. Does it make sense at all?
Yes.
So that, they will tell you. They know these things. Right? So they will tell you if you are in their system. Yes, you have a question.
The question here, would you advise us to go to the high-risk investments?
I just told you, do the 3. High, mid, and low.
And then you can take out when
Right? Do the 3. Take out your profit, put it into the mid and the low. Right? Because, like I said, it's like the problem with many investors is they are not conscious that maybe a forex, maybe a crypto is high risk in the first place. They just have this, mindset of it will keep working. But when you know what you are getting into, this will not keep. It will not be profitable forever. So I'll keep pulling out my profit to the ones that are using. Yeah.
Actually, why I said this is because
I didn't ask you to give somebody your money. I asked you to invest yourself.
okay, I get your point.
Do you get my point
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
That's what I said.
Okay.
Because typically what happens to most of us as Africans, a guy tells you he's trading Forex. Rather than you say to him, okay, you have this, you look like you are successful at it. You have all this bling bling, right? And people can easily deceive you with, he's driving Rolls Royce, he's driving Ferrari, he lives in a big house. No problem. Okay? Rather than give you the money, how much do I pay? Show me the way.
Just saying because I've been a victim before.
Yeah, because you gave somebody your money. I know that. Trust me. That's why I just answered you. Right? So show me the way, because these are not, investment is not like a work. It's, nowadays there are softwares, there are apps you download. It's like pressing a button, your money has left your account, it's gone. It's easy. And you have the app to monitor it. I remember an Egyptian mentee of mine in Dubai. We just had a conversation and I told her, okay, you know what? Go into fractional real estate investment. Download the fractional apps. Right? She was sending me messages tomorrow. In fact, she says, I can't wait to see you in Dubai. You changed my life. Because the little money she had, she started doing all this. And she's shocked how it's doing today. So, but of course, I made sure she went through proper training. So it's not as if you go and say you are giving somebody your money. Let the person, if it's really good, show me, teach me. Right? I will pay you. And that's what has changed my life. I paid Grant Cardone over $200,000 to understand real estate in the U.S. market. So some people were shocked when they hear we acquire 40-acre property. We're going to be building 400 to 500 housing units. Like, oh boy, who has? I mean, what everybody says is, how did you come? You have this kind of boldness. That's the only thing they were all saying. Like, where did this boldness come from? But where did the boldness come from? Who can guess?
Knowledge.
The knowledge. Right? Because a guy has built over $4 billion worth of assets. And the guy don't show you road. You won't come to 100 million, you're going to fear. And you still get the guy to be able to reach out to him if anything won't go haywire. But most of you Africans here will not do that. You say, me I pay person $200,000 for what? For what? I don't help my mama with that one. Even God never give her that kind of money. Do you see? But the knowledge that you will get from that investment can totally turn your life around. It's not just the one we're doing which will cost us $100 million in the next 5 years. It's that I can still keep replicating that. Tomorrow, if I'm able to build a portfolio of $5 billion worth of real estate as a US alone, I still owe it to that man I paid $200,000 to learn. Am I making sense to talk? So I haven't lost. But the problem is we don't do that. I had borrowed money to learn before. I had borrowed money to go for seminars before. Most of us don't do that. Because in our mind is, I'm waiting. Waiting, I want to teach us. We will not know. Do you see? So if you put in 200 to 500 into fractional real estate shares of Fortune 500 in the next 10 years, I can assure you started your journey to come out of poverty. Because in 10 years' time, you will be having almost, between 500,000 to £1 million in all these, companies in terms of shares that you bought. How much was Tesla shares 10 years ago? Now you understand what I'm talking about. How much was Facebook shares 10 years ago? I hope it's clicking now. Aha. Now, if you had bought 10 years ago, what will you be worth now? You are just putting to 200 or let's say 500 every month into those things. And like I said, why am I mentioning fractional shares? Because now you may not be able to, your $500 pounds may not even buy one. Right? Because some of those shares are now, Apple is now, I don't know whether it's more than, I think Apple is more than 500 pounds for one share. But there's websites that can give you a fraction. Where with 50 pounds, you can buy a fraction of an Apple share. Is this making sense at all? So you are constantly every month buying, and you're buying, and you're buying. 10 years later, the principle of compound interest, like Warren Buffett will always teach. So, one quote I have, it says, don't envy my wealth, envy the sacrifices and the what? And the principles. So don't envy and I wish I can be like somebody. Don't wish you can be like me. What is the discipline? What is the sacrifice? What exactly am I doing? Okay, I'll give you an example. Everybody is talking about what we are doing now in Houston. But are they aware that for the last 8 years I've been going to US, training people, mentoring people? Right? So somebody will say, the guy is lucky, he raised $10 million in 60 days. But that's not just it. This guy has been training these people who invested with him. He has been training them. It's like, here now, let me announce a project next year. Right? And your life is better next year. Will you not invest? Will someone else say, I'm lucky? When I was doing free training, couldn't the person who wish I am lucky not do the same? Put his own money, start impacting people? So, always look at life from the angle of what was the sacrifices that these people that I'm admiring did. What were the principles that they used? So the first one we look at out of the 5, like I said, is just an intro into these businesses, right? We'll go into more detail of real estate from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Okay? And if you can't put 6 hours to turn your life around, there's nothing I can do. Abi? It's your own fault now. Abi? Uh-huh. There are days and there are certain days. For me, one day was when things started turning around. And it was seminars like this. I just looked at it and said, no, this sounds like the path I should take. And everything can pause. One day I was at a training, and when the person was done talking about the influence of friends, I took my phone and I deleted all the wrong friends I had. Me, I don't drag on learning, right? Because it's one life I have. I'm not rehearsing. There's no 2 lives. It's one. It's not 2. It's one. So I can't be playing Ludo with it. Okay? And I can't be doing all this. Does it look like I'm not sure? Delete it. I remember one of those friends then called one day. I said, who is this? He said, Yoruba, like, are you mad? What do you mean, who is this? You don't have my number again. Everyone, because we're best of friends. And I remember the exact word I used. I said, it's my phone. And I have the right to choose who is on my phone. Okay? Yes, you can come live for the 1 p.m. train. Somebody's asking on online whether you can come. You can come for the 1 p.m. training. It's paid, and you can come. Why not? We're here. We still have space for you. But it will be good for you to come physically rather than virtually. But you can join us virtually for it as well. Send DM, I think, to you. So, you have one life, guys. Take it serious. So, this evening, we'll be looking at 7 ways to make money in the real estate sector. Land banking, property flipping, commercial rental, short-let, residential, real estate investment trust, and real estate agency and brokerage. Like I said, I'm having somebody who is a finance broker, and will be sharing with you as well. She works with different lenders here in the UK and the US. And she's more than excited, as long as you have a good deal, to get you lenders. So how many of you are happy about that? So if you have a good deal, all this, oh, I don't have money, that's the problem. No, they can get you lenders. You just need to bring in your own 20 or 30%, and they get you lender for the rest. And like I told you earlier, if you have good integrity, you go to gather your friends and raise what? It's your 30%. If you can't raise your first 30%, then you need to work on your own character. It's true. You need to work on your own character. Right? You need to work on it. As well as also work on your own social capital. What is land banking? Land banking is among the relatively low risk investment opportunities with a potentially high return. Land banking is one of the oldest real estate investment practices where investors buy land, small or large quantities of undeveloped land, intending to profit from the resale of the land. So you buy land, and then you keep it for a while, and then you're able to profit from selling it years later. So the property I bought in the US, I remember doing some research. This property went for over $5 million, land. And when I did my research, the original owners bought the land for less than $5,000. And now I've sold it for over $5 million. That's land banking for you. Right? So you can look at the map of your city and ask yourself, where is growth moving to? Where is development moving to, right? And you go and take a position. Am I making sense at all? And by just taking a position there, what happened? Okay? Years to come, you are enjoying the value. Even for me, it's one of my secrets today. And again, remember the quote I mentioned about sacrifice, I have seen people buy land from GTEx. 1 year later, they say they want their money back. Sometimes GTEx will say, okay, we're not a bank. Okay, we didn't keep your money in the bank. We too, we paid, either we did first or we paid the real owners, and then you see the person start saying, okay, I will spoil you people's name. Go on social media, they scam me. Okay? Now, hear this. I have seen the same people, true story, 4 years later, come back to the same me that they spoiled my name 4 years ago. I said, I was thinking I was foolish. You see, I needed money urgently that period. I needed money urgently that period. You won't understand what I was going through. You won't understand. No vex. But I saw that the land is now what? Omo. This thing you did teach you.
Value appreciation.
Right? So, ultimately, you see why the place of your own sacrifice and principle is important in the journey of wealth creation. It's still in your hands. Because if you don't choose to say, I'm going to follow this course, I'm going to stick to it, I'm not going to give up, are we together now? What if when I started land banking and I started putting all my money, instead of taking good care of myself, what if I fail? It was a risk I was willing to take. And I'm happy I took it because obviously I'm not, even the blind knows I'm not where I used to be. So you look at the various types of land you will find. You have what we call undeveloped land, you have what we call pre-developed land, you have what we call developed land. So here in the UK, can anybody tell me a location that you can call undeveloped? Give us a name.
Kent area.
Is Kent undeveloped or pre-developed?
It's pre-developed.
Do you know the difference, by the way? What's the difference? Because check the image. Under each one, can you see the image?
And developed. The areas in Kent and almost outside, they're mostly pre and developed because there are some houses, some sets of livelihood going on around there. There's little bit of warehouses, small companies, and
So pre-developed.
there is a university there as well, I think.
So you are looking at pre-developed. So again, you have to understand it. That's why I put a picture there. If you notice, undeveloped land are practically farmlands. Okay? But you're analyzing the fact that population is moving towards that, is about to move towards that area. Maybe because the next neighborhood is already full, right? It's already full, and people are beginning to turn farmlands to building houses on it. So that is how you analyze. You buy undeveloped, and then if you notice the profit begins towards the later part of undeveloped, pre-developed, start going higher. And by the time you get to develop, you're already rich. The second business model is public speaking. Right? Public speaking for me is one of the major things that has changed my life forever. Being an author and being a public speaker. And for me, I've written over 40 books. Today, yeah, you don't know. Okay, well, maybe the day you write one book, you now appreciate it. The person who has written 40. But a lot of people don't know that every human being should work towards becoming an author and a public speaker. Every human being. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. And I'll tell you why. Even though public speaking in itself may not be able to pay your bill in itself, particularly at the initial stage, but it has always been the tool that will market you the most. My personal brand now is stronger than my company's brand. Okay? Like all of you now, if I ask most of you, mention my company name, many of you don't even know. But you know my name, right? So, But what made my brand to be stronger is what? Public speaking and writing a book. Because somebody will have seen my book somewhere before they met me. Listen to my short clip, even if they disagree, but they get to know I exist. And later when they then get to know, he's the owner of that company. I will do business with him. So we've been able to sell over $1 billion worth of real estate using being an author and being a public speaker as a tool. Does that make sense to talk? Because once you get to meet the person, you love the value he's offering.
Yeah.
Now, it makes it easier for you to be willing to then do business with him or her. So public speaking and being an author can be, at the beginning, your marketing tool to back up the business or other things you're doing. Now, in the future, which is where I'm beginning to come to now, public speaking can now be one of those things that make you financially free. Today now, naturally, every day, I make money on Amazon. Every day. People buy my book from all over the world. All over the world. Right? Today now, I charge as much as $20,000 for my coaching. In fact, sometimes I always joke that to those who work in our company, I say, sometimes even more liquid than your company said, right? Because every day people pay, right? Somebody starts a real estate company, he wants a session with me. He's paying me good money. I'm consulting for his business. I'm working to him grow his business. I get to be invited to speak also in conferences, meetings. I get paid as well. So it's a major thing you should consider doing as a business, right? Now, public speaking is the process of performing a speech to a live audience. Public speaking is commonly understood as a formal face-to-face. Speaking is a single person to a group of listeners. Now, another dimension of public speaking I advise all of you to go into is content online, right? Today, I have one of my TikTok videos that has been viewed by more than 10 million people. just one video, right? And I mean, I have over 2 million people who follow me across all social media platforms. If I were to start monetizing my content, I can't be making less than between $5,000 to $20,000 every month. So that has become another channel of income in the world of public speaking. And it begins with you just sitting down, using your existing phone that you already have spent so much money to buy, and looking for areas you want to start educating people, right? And being willing to perform it in a way that is educative, but it's fun, it's exciting, and getting a team of editors to edit it properly for you. Now, it may take you a while to grow it, as it has taken me a while. But eventually, it has become a major tool. Imagine some of you have started public speaking 5 years ago. Imagine where it will have pushed you to today. Right? Because time will still pass either way. And I know some of us will say, I'm shy. Guess what? I am the shyest human being you can ever meet. Okay? I'm one of the shyest human beings you can ever meet. Extremely shy. But I walked through it. Over time, as I continue, overcame it. Now, for you to grow your public speaking or any business, you must build a brand. And there are a couple of things that make up a brand. Number one is the logo. If you notice all through my slide, you can see my logo embedded. Something like an essay, right? All of you should have a logo. Every human being should have a logo. You're a brand. It's not only this Duke of Sussex that needs to have a logo, right? You're a Duke yourself, right? Duke of Moji. Right? So, have a logo around your name, your brand, who you are. Okay? And some of you think this is a joke. Where the world is going, AI will do the job. The real job in the future is you being a brand. Let me repeat myself again. The way the world will soon change in the next 10 to 20 years, you will not believe it. The current job you say you are doing now, AI will be the one doing it. They will not want human beings. Take my warning seriously. So, the real business as the world is changing will be you being a brand, because nobody can repeat or replicate or change you. Are we together now? So, okay, how many years ago nobody cares about your social media interviewing you? Today now, is it not part of the requirement?
Even embassies.
Even embassies, yes. Even embassies now ask for a social media handle. Before they give you visa.
They would have checked everything.
Yeah. They'll check every statement you made about them. Know whether you are a terrorist, you have a terrorism. It's now. So you're a brand. Tell your neighbor you're a brand. Next is strategy. Experience. There's a strategy to it. I did a video with my wife in a private show. There's a strategy to my content to always infuse my past, okay, with a luxury experience. That don't be deceived by this. So this is where we're starting from.
The comments, the feedback.
No.
Reviews.
Thank you. Testimonials. She's right. People always think that you become trustworthy organically. Listen, there is nothing that happens by itself in this world. It's intentionality. So what do I mean? If you're a trustworthy person, you have to show people you are trustworthy. Themselves. Am I making sense at all? So putting out testimonies of people who have now, I didn't post much of what was going on with her. Maybe you don't believe our own version of the story, but at least the whole radio TV station will not come back. But what am I saying? You must be intentional to push out that, hey, I did what I promised. I mean, that's not the two is not even up to 10%. Am I making sense to talk? On a regular basis. Relationship, I stop, and I focus strictly on business. Not even business, I now focus on investment. Okay? If many people knew me to be teaching more of 20 internet businesses you can do, even that I shut it down. It was this year I introduced this business opportunity masterclass because I realized it was affecting the brand. I wanted to be seen quality as the guy you come and meet when you have money. Okay? I say, okay, I have this money, how do I spend it? So for me to be that, my messaging has to narrow down to that. Does that make sense at all? So if I'm teaching too many types of businesses, too many aspects, it affects people niching me to one thing.
Relationship, I wouldn't take you seriously.
Funny enough, I mean, you will love my sessions on relationships. You will love it. Okay? I have some very practical teachings around relationship. Some may be controversial, but practical. Right? Very, very practical. But I think I have about 2 books on relationships. You should read them. Okay? But at some point, I had to niche down. I will learn it here now.
Yeah.
So if you are saying I'm a speaker and then you're speaking everything, that will be the problem. Niche it down. You may now say, okay, but some people will be inviting me. No. After a while, you realize that even people in other fields will still bring you to come and speak around that context of your world. Okay? But you will rise faster. Okay? Number 2, define your audience. So for me, for example, it took me years to realize that intentionally I want rich people to be my audience. Now, I want to impact poor people, but I want rich people to be my clients. Right? When I've made profit doing business with rich people, I can now go and take that part of the profit to help poor people. But it was a decision. So today you see people say, oh, don't mind that man, it's too expensive. Even his seminar is expensive. Meanwhile, the day you tell them, they won't come home. And they will discourage you with their absence. Shouldn't make this place contain us. But because they didn't pay. In fact, what do I notice? I will advertise business opportunity masterclass. Hear this. The one they will say they want to come for is the paid version. As if the free version won't add value. You see human psychology. Yeah? You see human being. It's the one we can afford that excites us more. It's just a mindset. That's why it excites us more. That's what we want to go for. And then we want to argue over why they can't afford that one. It's the same thing with cars. Right? All you need is to move from here to Kent. That's all. It doesn't matter what type of car. But no. Can't it be Mercedes? Which one is different? Right? Can't it be Ferrari? Those who are driving Rolls Royce, do they have two heads? Do you see the human nature? So choose your audience. For me, my clientele, rich people. Okay? Research your desired industry and follow the experts. So who are the big boys in your industry? So for me, I got to Grant Cardone, real estate, started following him. Okay? Ask for informal interview. Interview people around your industry, around what you do. Prepare an elevator speech. If I ask many of you, do you have an elevator speech about you? If I meet you today and I say, introduce yourself, do you have an elevator speech? Most of us don't have. Who can tell me what an elevator speech is? Anyone? What is an elevator speech?
As a pitch about an idea or project for yourself that you can say within 30 seconds to a minute, that gives introduction, name, establishes the facts, and promotes you as well.
Clap for this guy. So, elevator speech basically is a 30 seconds, max 60 seconds introduction of yourself that immediately will create a memory about you in the minds and heart of the person that heard about you. Okay? Elevator speech is not where you sell. Unfortunately, many people, that's what they want to do. You can't really sell in 30 to 60 seconds. You can't. Why they call it elevator speech is that what can you tell somebody while you are in an elevator before the person gets to where they are going? And then lasting memory that they will want to meet you again. So the ultimate goal of an elevator speech is such so that the person is willing to fix a next appointment. It's not really when you do the magic. So have one. My elevator speech is simple. Hello, my name is Dr. Stephen Akintayo. I'm known as Africa's most trusted and, of course, Africa's most sought after investment coach. I help rich people make more money through real estate investment. Are you interested? Okay? So, that's simple. Do you see? I've said my name. I've said what makes me unique. Right? Of course, the only thing you may be arguing whether I'm making too much mouth, but you Google my name now. And then, of course, you will not be disappointed. I've made sure that's true. Also. So, that's really an elevator speech. Just something short, but you must have it. As a speaker, as a brand, it's very critical. Embrace networking. So you're in this class today. Don't just be after leaving here. Ask for people's name. Ask for who they are and what they do. Somebody who will be instrumental to your next level is probably in this room right now. Somebody said something very powerful. He said, rich people, poor people go to work. Rich people build network. If you ask me, Stephen, what are you doing at this phase of your life? I'll tell you, I think, I meditate, and I'm meeting important people. Let me say that again. What are you doing at this phase of your life? I think, I meditate, of course I read, and meeting important people. So, how do you become a billionaire? I have a very simple formula to becoming a billionaire. Are you interested? Simple formula. And my formula is very simple. It is SW plus, HW. You write it down as a formula. It's a mathematical formula. HW plus SW, right, plus NW equals to billions. Okay? Who can guess what this is? Can anybody guess? What is HW? What is SW? You are right, Hardwork, you are right. So what's SW?
Social network or something. Social work.
That's easy now. Smart work.
Smart work. Come on.
Okay, what's NW?
Network.
Now what are you? Okay. So, hard work plus smart work plus network equals to billions. For many years, guess the one I missed out? This one. I used to feel that, once I'm smart, and then I work hard, I'm not a lazy man. At some point, I had to humble myself and say, look, guy, you continue at this pace. Of just hard work and smart work. You work for a long time to get to where you need to be. So I often tell people that you can make your first 1,000 pounds, 100,000 pounds through hard work. It's possible. It's not always the case, but it's possible. Right? You can make your first 1 million pounds through smart work. Absolutely possible. But guess what? You cannot make £1 billion with just smart work and hard work. Network must enter. And the reason is because there are just few people that have B to their name. And until they enter your life, there's a limit. I don't know how you understand. It's just the reality here. It's just a limit. Often time when I was with one of my billionaire mentors, and we got talking, and even though I'm not yet ready, but I already started catching a glimpse of the next phase of my business. So I'm doing this project with this government. It's $120 million. They don't have the money, so I brought the money for them. And blah, 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 blah. They just paid us the first installment. We're fixing borehole in their countries, one of these African countries. So he got the entire team. They were manufacturing the entire borehole itself in the country, and then they were now going to the rural areas to fix it. I said they were so impressed. In fact, the president won the second time because of that. And now, they're about to approve another one. Cut the long story short, there's a B around just that deal alone. One deal. One deal alone. Okay? Am I making sense at all?
Yes.
But even if you have the potential to make such a deal happen, if you don't sit with someone like that and hear them, or the day you have such a deal, if you don't go and sit down with someone and say, how did you navigate? You know, these people, you can do it, they won't even pay your money. You know, how did you navigate? What are the things I must insist on? So you may even be sitting upon what you could have done, but because there was nobody who guide you and say, when you are doing these things, this is how you structure it. Guys, and I tell people, the best time to build a great network is when you don't need it. That's the best time. You know, again, I'll take your question. The best time to do what? To build a great network is what? When you don't need it. When you do it when you need it, you'll be too desperate. You will mess it up. They themselves can't trust yourself. Because you can't just come to me day one and you want us to do something great and expect me to trust you. That's not how it works. Okay? There's somebody, one of them is called the billionaire maker. Okay? So you know how many billionaires he has made who don't care who he is? Who are rude, who are... So you want him to help you, eh? Okay, you pass plenty tests. Right? You will. Yes.
Okay, so what I wanted to ask is, I think what people struggle with is that part of networking. Because remember, everybody's so consumed trying to make ends meet, you know, and pay bills, that you wake up and the only thing you do is go to a particular office.
Yeah.
So there's literally no time to, you know, so how do you transition into that phase? Or are you saying you need to be at a certain level of financial freedom before then you can peacefully network? I mean, because if you want to go now having coffee at some expensive restaurant,
and then your pocket has been choked at the end of the day. So I agree with you. I mean, I've always said life is a phases, men and sizes, you live your size part time. But here's what I've noticed. There is always the next level network at whatever level you are. For example, your network could be the most senior person in your place of work. And that may be the person who influences your next promotion. That's still a network that has affected your net worth. You know, there's this code that says your network determines your net worth. Right? So, network is not necessarily all the time must be a billionaire. No. Network is just who is higher than I am. Okay? That I need to build a relationship with that is going to be instrumental for me moving to another step higher. Okay? So, if you are at a level and then you want